Are you ready? This is page 146. We are preparing for Module 6 by reviewing some skills, such as simplifying fractions. So let's check it out. On the example here, we're asked to simplify 15/24. 15 and 24 simplifies because they share a factor of 3. I know that because they listed the factors of 15 and they listed the factors of 24, and 3 is the greatest factor in both lists. It's called the greatest common factor. So you divide by 3 and you get 5 and 8. So 15/24 simplifies to 5/8. I'm going to go ahead and try that down here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to try to, if I can, it's kind of messy, but I'm going to try to show what I divide by and what the simplified answer is. 6 and 9 share a factor of 3, so I'm going to divide by 3. I'm going to get 2 and 3. 4 and 10 share a factor of 2, so I'm going to divide each number by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. 15 and 20, the greatest common factor is 5. I'm going to divide by 5, and I'm going to get 3 and 4. 20 and 24 share a factor of 4. If I divide 20 by 4, I get 5, and if I divide 24 by 4, I get 6. 16 and 56 share a factor of 8. If I divide by 8, I get 2 and 7. 45 and 72 share a factor of 9. 45 divided by 9 is 5, and 72 divided by 9 is 8. 18 and 60 share a factor of 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 60 divided by 6 is 10. And 32 and 72 share a factor of 8. 32 divided by 8 is 4. 72 divided by 8 is 9. Alright, moving on. Now what we're going to do is kind of the same thing except for backwards. We're going to write equivalent fractions. What we're going to do is be looking for relationships, and I'm going to use arrows and facts to come up with these answers. So analyze the denominators here, 5 and 15. How would I get from 5 to 15? Well, I'd multiply by 3. And so what I would do here is I'd think about what would go here that I would multiply also by 3. Well, it has to be 4. I guess the other way to think about it might have been better for me to teach you this right here. How do I get from 15 to 5 is I divide by 3. So if you divide that term by 3, you divide this term by 3. So I'm going to get 4. Either way, the answer is 4, whichever way you think about it. So let's go to number 10. It's like the exact opposite of simplifying. How do I get from 6 to 30 as I multiply by 5? So then I have to multiply the numerator by 5. The key here is, check this out. Whatever you do to a denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator. So if I multiply this denominator by 5, I have to multiply that numerator by 5. So I get 25. How do you get from 16 to 4? Well, that's divide by 4. So you divide this denominator by 4 and you get 6. To get from 3 to 21, I multiply by 7. So I multiply 9 by 7, I get 63. To get from 40 to 8, I divide it by 5. So I get 3. To get from 30 to 10, I divide it by 3. To get from 48 to 12, I divide it by 4. If I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. Practice your facts. Pause the video. Do whatever you need to do. 64 divided by 4 is 16. And how did I get from 2 to 9? I multiplied by 9. 7 times 9 is 63. Alright, if you need extra help with those, let me know. I can give you a page. Alright, this video is now just going to move on to the next page. We'll do the vocabulary page as well. So we are going on to now page 147. The vocabulary startup. And the beginning says to use the checkmark words. Use the checkmark words. That's divide, multiply, product, and quotient. And the operation, well, this is clearly multiply. And the term for the answer is the product. It's really important that you recognize and memorize this. This will be assessed. The answer to a multiplication problem is called the product. The answer to a division problem, so divide goes here. The answer to a division problem, we've gone over this in both modules 4 and 5, is a quotient. Okay, we used all our checkmark words, and those all make sense. Let's move on to the bottom of the page. understanding vocabulary, we are to match. Some of these words are new, like this word right here, ratio, comes up in the very next lesson. What is a ratio? A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. A rate is a ratio of two quantities that have different units. A unit rate, kind of like a rate, except for that the second term, the second quantity has to be 1. We're going to go over these in great detail. And an equivalent ratio, two equivalent ratios are ratios that name the same comparison. So that is the correct matching. Make sure you got those right. And we are done with the warm-up pages for Module 6. So you may go on to page, I think it's 150. Good job.